licking the other cat, and now he's licking his own, well, scrotum. Welcome back to episode 70 of Would John Rather. It's 2 weeks later, but you're finally right, John.
Isn't it episode 72?
No, please stop. Otherwise, I won't let you go on holiday anymore.
Okay.
Agreed. What's new this week?
I have one more guitar and 2 less fish.
That's the weirdest part exchange ever, but okay.
You've got to go to a very specific type of music aquarium shop to get that sort of, deal going on.
It's a whole new economy. So 2 fish equal a guitar.
Do you know what type of fish it was?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
A bass.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Felt the same as the guitar I picked up.
There's something about tuna there as well, but... Brilliant silence. Should we dive right in?
All right.
Would you rather your life had a narrator or a live studio audience?
A live studio audience.
Narrator. Any day narrator, because my narrator would be Morgan Freeman.
Ooh.
And I'd love to see what you have to come up with as I stared into the middle distance. I'd love to hear what he said. So John was thinking about... No, I can't even do Morgan Freeman. What am I doing?
I like the idea of the studio audience. Like, when you say something and then you worry if people have taken it the wrong way or they didn't quite get your joke. Like, if I made a joke and the studio audience didn't laugh, then I know that the joke's not hit. Or if I said something that was meant to be a joke and the audience went... then I'd be like, oh, they've taken that the wrong way. And even worse, if as I was walking away from a situation, the audience went, ooh, I'd be like, oh shit, something's happened.
Right.
So it'd give you your social cues, basically.
Yeah.
Right, I'd like your enthusiasm, but there is a difference between canned laughter, which we see a lot of sitcoms have, and the live studio audience. Things you think are going to hit that don't, they obviously use the canned laughter for, not the studio audience. Because there's some things that happen in Friends that you think, that was shit, and then you still hear laughter anyway.
Yeah, that's canned laughter, but that's because Friends isn't filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Unlike Happy Days, which told you at the start of every single show.
Okay. Well,
So when you deliver things and you think maybe aren't going to hit, you just get this disgruntled going on, like they do sometimes in The Big Bang Theory.
See, I'm an optimist, and I don't like the idea, if I had a narrator, the amount of times that I've woken up and said, or got into work and been like, it's going to be a really good day. The last thing I'd want to hear after I said that, having the narrator going, unfortunately, it was not going to be a good day. Because at least that way you might as well just give up. It's my way, I can still try without...
It's an early warning system. It's going to tell you if you need to put in 110% effort, or you just go, well, today's going to be a shitstorm. I will just batten down the hatches and hope I don't get covered.
And also, can everyone else hear this narrator? I don't want people to know what I could be thinking or planning. It was like, yeah, I'll definitely come to your 30th birthday party in London. He had no intention of ever going to their 30th birthday party. Like, fuck off, narrator.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who gets to hear it? And also, who gets to hear the live studio audience? Every time Matt delivers a punt and there's just a random chorus of groans coming out the walls, people are going to think the place is haunted.
I think it's got to be the same for both of you, so I'll just make it so that everyone sort of within hearing distance of you would be able to hear it.
So it would be like so if I had my narrator, it would sound like I was a ventriloquist who could actually do a good impression of Morgan Freeman. People are going to think I'm mad. Although it may be endearing. People like that sort of thing. People like Morgan Freeman more than they like me. So that might actually be quite a cool thing to be able to project.
I mean, it's not 100% that Morgan Freeman's going to be your narrator.
No, I didn't get to pick which of the two I wanted, so therefore I get to pick Morgan Freeman's going to be my narrator.
That's not how it works. I don't get to pick who's going to be in my audience.
Who name 100 people you can have them in your audience, Matt. I'll let you.
I would pick 100.
Carry on. Sorry, this is too rum on an empty stomach. John talking. I apologise. He's continuing naming 100 people for the sake of the podcast, Matthew.
No, I wasn't going to name 100 people. I was going to say I'd pick a load of people that got out of jail sentences that shouldn't have, and therefore they're strapped in these chairs following me around for the rest of my life that can't do any wrong. I'd use my powers for good.
So you're going to torture people?
all prisoners, and like every time I do something nice, instead of the audience going, they're going, ugh.
Every time you decide to crack one off, you've got 100 convicts watching you. That is...
Other than you're going to be cracking one off and having Morgan Freeman halfway through going, little did he know that his wife was opening the front door as he tugged it.
And then I go, whoop, better put him away.
And he just goes, you have the conversation. He goes, so what have you been doing? Nothing. I was just arranging the audio books on my shelf. He's like, unfortunately, he knew that she knew he was lying. And she's there going, well, I fucking know you're lying now. What were you doing? What were you doing? She finally finds out what you're doing. And you're like, don't worry, babe, I was thinking of you. And he goes, a bigger lie was never told. It's like, for fuck's sake, Morgan Freeman.
Thing is, I'm a pretty open book. I'm terrible at lying.
I always think of you. He never thought of her.
Thing is, I wouldn't have that sort of problem because I can't tell lies to save my life. So Morgan Freeman dropping me in it wouldn't be too much of a problem for me. I think it speaks more about you, Matt. How you feel that it was going to drop you in the proverbial shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I do not want a narrator. And if we're going to talk about this fucking self-masochism that you used as an example, then maybe I'd like a studio audience. There's nothing better than when I got my car with the CD player when I bought a live album and you start your car to cheering. Imagine that when you're absolutely bashing away at it if you've got an audience cheering you on.
Oh,
that would probably work for some people.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for me. No.
If I had the choice between 100 people watching me choke the chicken or one single person intently watching me do it, I'd definitely pick the crowd.
So you wouldn't get performance anxiety?
I wouldn't have much of a choice. I'm sure I'd get used to it. It'd become desensitized.
Wouldn't you be polite to do it with the lights off?
The thing is, you'd have to like either pretend like Morgan Freeman wasn't there or like just maintain eye contact. I could pick a different person on a route of, let's say it's every day, a different person every 100 days, and then loop back around. It'd be like...
in my mind, Morgan Freeman is in an audio box watching like a little tablet with me in the corner with a script he's reading from. So if he decides that actually that's not cool, he'd just glance away at his script and go, right, okay.
No, because he's got to narrate. He's got to narrate what you're doing.
I mean, key points in my life, and I don't think masturbating is a particularly key point.
John was edging closer and closer.
My life.
He regretted not bringing something with him to clean up the aftermath.
Mate, I'm prepared. That's not happening. If you're in it, you've got to be in it for the long haul. You've got to show commitment. You've got to show planning and preparation. I'm not like the sort of person that just wipe it on the curtains and just carry on with my day.
Far too much of this conversation has been about masturbation.
Yes.
Well, you were the one that forced us to have people watching our lives.
Exactly. And you've got to take the good with the bad.
As my old man used to say, there are two types of people in this world. There are wankers and there are lying wankers. Which is people that lie about wanking, because we all do it, let's face it.
Okay, well, on balance, since that's all you've discussed, I think I would rather have the live studio audience.
Yes!
On the balance that I think you could get used to people reacting to what you're doing, but someone talking about it in good or bad, I don't think that would ever, in that scenario, would ever get good. So
especially if other people could hear it, because it'd basically be like them being able to read your thoughts.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's the right thing to do to tell little white lies, like how I'm going to tell Kirsten that I prepared her a taco salad because I thought that's what she'd prefer. You know, that'll make her feel good. Like, I've thought about what she'd want, as opposed to the reality that I accidentally dropped the tacos and
You know, the whole studio audience right now is going, ooh, at your bad lying.
Can we just act that out a sec, John? You tell the lie and I'll be the narrator.
And then I'll be the studio audience.
So, I made you a taco salad.
He lied.
Ooh.
Wait, no, that didn't work because you have made her a taco salad. You didn't give her a reason. Okay, so start again.
So, I made you a taco salad because I love you.
He said, lying, hoping she wouldn't ask the real reason.
Ooh.
He stood there intently, praying that she just ate the salad and shut up.
Yeah, see, in that scenario, live studio audience is probably better because all they do is react.
Spin on the narrator, haven't you?
Anyway.
It's not like telling it how it is, it's like intentionally dropping you in the shit, making you sound like a bad human being. That's a bad call on both of your parts for thinking that way. Let's be optimistic. Let's move on to the next question.
He did love her, but this was not the reason he made a salad.
That's brutal.
It could be worse. It could have been he didn't love her, and this wasn't the reason he made her a salad. Like, that'd be even worse.
In fact, if I knew, if the narrator came to my house and said she didn't love him, that's why she made him a salad, I'd probably agree with that. If you loved me, you would never make me salad.
True.
Okay.
Suggestion of the week is maybe not lying to your wife. I guess it's probably a good start.
My suggestion of the week is fuck salad. Both good options.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I think they're both very good pieces of advice and don't need extrapolating.
Yeah, no further clarification required. Would you rather bite the hand that feeds you or feed a mouth that bites you?
I'll go with feed the mouth that bites you because I've done that several times.
Well, I'll go with bite the hand that feeds me because nobody feeds me anymore. So, next question. No, I like to think that I'm fairly self-reliant and not too often do I need to ask for help, really, because I don't like having to thank people. So I don't think it wouldn't come up that often.
And by the sounds of it, when they thank you, you just go, yeah, I could have done that myself.
Yeah. Didn't need your help.
Doesn't sound so much like specifically biting the hand that feeds you, but then burning bridges afterwards.
We'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Bites you. Burning the hand that feeds you? I don't know. One of those two.
Burn the hand that feeds you. We'll bite that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. Whereas I have had a child and a dog, and they.
Why did you say it in past tense? You has a child.
Well, I still do have a child, but the stage when I was like feeding him and he was like trying to chew me, that's past. That's been and gone. And the dog, because she's a lot younger and she's a dog, still tries to eat me every now and again. And I don't love them any less because I know that that's the sort of phase that they go through and they'll be out of that. But then if I were to have more children or more dogs, it's just part and parcel of that cycle.
I'd much rather.
It's not something that I resent and hate and don't want in my life. It's a necessary evil. And actually, the joy they both bring me far outweighs the biting that they do because I feed them both.
Well, I mean, either we're being literal on biting people, or we're talking about every time you help someone, they basically throw it in your face, or every time someone helps me, I throw it in their face. Either way, I'd much rather cause pain than receive it. So, fuck y'all.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to be nice and helping people, and I get bitten, but because I'm so loving and nurturing and caring towards all.
You must be lacking intelligence, because once bitten, twice shy.
From the same person.
Exactly. How many people are you feeding?
How many people do I need to?
I don't know how many times it's going to take for you to get bitten before you stop feeding strangers.
How many people die of hunger each year? And
Well,
I've not fed half of them.
It's because they're too busy feeding me and I don't share.
In fact, last week's episode, we decided we weren't going to help the hungry.
Exactly.
We both said,
Yeah, we both ignored it.
we're just going to concentrate on war and disease.
I just.
But I don't know. I'm quite a selfless person. I would always try and help people regardless of what the outcome was. I've had a lot of times where people have not accepted my advice and tried their own thing. For better, for worse, I don't mind. I've just tried my best to help.
But see, it's funny you say that because I've got an actual real world example of when I was a lot younger and my teacher visited my house. And she said, "Are you looking forward to school?" And I said, "Yeah, I like biting."
Is this the one where you said you'd like to fight people?
I like biting. And she went, "No, we don't do that at that school."
That was John and in his Batman costume, and he said fighting people.
Yeah, doesn't mean that this didn't happen to me. I never said I was in a Batman costume. That would be far too convenient.
When did you say you enjoyed biting people?
To a teacher in the fictitious story I just told John. Keep up.
There we go. Fictitious story. There we go.
Was that not obvious, John? I felt like I made that fairly obvious, did I not?
I knew you were lying.
Yeah.
See, I'm too focused trying to help you to not lie and be a good person that I was unfortunately bitten by your story. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to carry on and move on with my life. I'm not going to harbour any grudges about it. We're just going to go. It's cool.
I'm just aspirational. I tend to bite off more than I can chew.
That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, no, we're talking about biting.
Yeah, this question wasn't as interesting as I thought it'd be.
So, in the grand scheme of things, Matt biting people, is he like Mike Tyson or that guy that played for Liverpool? Suarez. Which one is he?
Well, we never really clarified if we're physically talking about biting people or we're taking the whole, bite the hand that feeds you idiom and rolling with that. So either way, like I said, I'd much rather hurt people than get hurt myself. Because ain't nobody going to put you first other than you.
Well, no, I don't like that. You do sometimes have to put yourself first, but that doesn't mean you have to bite people. Come on, Matt. John wins.
Next time I see you, I'm going to bite you because you've just said you'd rather be bitten than do the biting.
Then you could come and bite on my shoulder. I mean, cry on my shoulder if you need to, John. I'm there for you.
Aw, John wins.
Plus, I have cats that bite my toes at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I hate them when they do that.
That's why you get a dog.
That's why I don't have cats.
And also, dogs bite your feet as well.
That's why I don't have dogs.
Dog bites my hands. I've got many scars on my hands from puppy nibbles.
From your puppy's nipples?
Nibbles with bees. But she's got her big teeth in now, so she doesn't, wreck my hands as much. Well, in fact, at all. Puppy teeth are well sharp. No one tells you that.
So, next question. Would you rather that trees had eyes or wolves had ears?
Trees had eyes. Because I do a lot less offensive things than I say. And I also spend a lot less time in the proximity of trees than I do wolves.
Okay.
Were you just unpacking all of that?
No. I was thinking, what's the benefit of wolves having ears? There isn't. What's the downside to them? There isn't.
Yeah, they haven't got mouths.
No, exactly. They can't tell anyone.
For all we know, they do have ears.
And still don't have mouths. So I could go on living my life quite happily without any shame.
It's the same with trees.
Oh no, John's murdered someone. Let me tell. Oh, I'm a wall without a mouth. Oh, never mind. Are we talking literal ears? Because I'd feel like a bit of a knob if I'm going, I've got a lovely smooth wall here. Oh, there's an ear in it. I have to go sand it off so I can hang my picture on it. So it's not crooked. Spend my life sanding ears off of walls. Or are we saying that whatever I say is going to be reported back to the KGB or something?
Yeah, I reckon the walls and the trees are working for someone. I'm not sure who, but they do have a way of communicating. They don't do it out loud, but maybe they send a fax. They send a fax or something.
They send a fax to the fence overlords, which used to be trees but are now walls. They have eyes and ears at the same time. Ooh.
Yeah, I live in a house. I don't really spend that much time around trees anymore. And like I said, even if I did, I think I'd do things a lot less, like, could get me in less trouble than things I say. Hence why I'm on a podcast and not a YouTuber. And also...
So you can get into more trouble. Wait, what?
I don't know. I just realised it made no sense. But more importantly, at least it's not the other way around. Because if the trees had ears and the walls had eyes, then we would know that if a tree falls in the woods, whether it made a sound.
I think also, if it was that way around, it would just be like Gogglebox. The walls having eyes, just watching me watch TV. It'd be really fucking boring.
Yeah, isn't that basically... Are we talking about would you rather be caught on CCTV or having your house bugged?
I
But
suppose.
the CCTV's in the woods.
Yeah, exclusive CCTV in the woods. I don't know about you, but I don't spend that much time in the woods.
There's trees other than in the woods.
Yeah, but I'm genuinely trying to think of the last time I saw a tree.
I'm looking at a tree right now.
See, there's no trees that near my house. Like, when I drive to work, I see some trees. When I drive home from work, I see some trees. But I'm generally either in my house or at work, at which point there are walls everywhere.
I was just thinking, if you want to disappear off the grid, hypothetically, I'm not saying that either of you need to escape and evade, but there is CCTV in this country that extends very far. We're the most heavily monitored country in Europe regarding CCTV coverage.
That's because there's all the trees.
No. Excluding the trees. But if we're going to talk about the trees now, you'd not be able to go anywhere. You have to find a really, really big fuck-off field and hope that it was just hedged all around, or they had the Yorkshire stone walls, and then just hide in the middle of the maize field to be undiscovered. But there's going to be a tree somewhere where they're going to be able to locate you within a small radius. He was last seen by this great oak on this crossroads here. Whereas if the walls had ears, if you wanted to go off the grid, all you have to do is not talk, leave the house, and then go wherever you want to in the countryside. But if you've got the CCTV that's in the cities, followed by the CCTV that happens to be the trees with fucking eyes in the countryside, there's nowhere you could go, there's nowhere you could hide. So if you got set out by the government for committing a crime that you didn't commit and you had to escape and evade and prove your innocence like half the films on Netflix at the moment, then you wouldn't be able to. Whereas in this random reality, I'm sure that I could either get a load of wax and melt it and plug it into the ears of the walls, and then be able to escape and evade from there.
I mean, two things to say on that. Number one, I would...
What am I smoking? I don't know. It's pretty bad.
No, I'd definitely use that as to help sort of lobby for cutting down all of the fucking forests and turning it all into housing developments.
Where does your oxygen come from if you chop down all the trees?
Moss. Moss produces more oxygen than grass.
Oh, I thought you said moths.
No.
I was like, what?
And also, when we say, the trees having eyes, I kind of, I can see it. But with the walls having ears, does each wall have one set of ears, or is it a wall of ears? Because that's fucking creepy.
I don't know. Have we considered that the tree...
Each branch has a set of eyes. Each twig has a set of eyes.
I don't know.
Each leaf has an eye at its base.
I reckon each tree... I think it'd be a bit like...
Like the Ents. Just one tree, one set of eyes.
Yeah. And the walls just have one ear each. Each wall has an ear.
Just a single ear.
Yeah.
Is it an ear that if I want to hang a picture over it, I'd have to, sand it down first? Or is it just, a little hole in the wall, like a lizard's ear?
You could hang a picture off of the ear.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Like earrings.
The wall doesn't have a mouth. It can't scream about it.
Okay. Well, I've listened to your arguments.
Just like the walls.
Just like the walls have. And it's a tricky one. But
I think it all depends which Big Brother state you'd want to be a part of.
Well, you've both focused on a lot of negatives.
Well, one of the positives of having eyes in trees is that tends to be where a lot of crime happens, is in the woods.
In the fucking trees?
Yeah. So
Tarzan stealing bananas again.
we'd be able to find out about all of those bodies that have been buried and secret meetings.
I
Yeah.
think that if the trees had ears, then you could feel like someone was listening to you. So if you had something you need to get off your chest, and
The walls, not the trees.
the walls had ears, and you had something you need to get off your chest. Just talk it through with someone. That
They'd be
wasn't
a good
gonna judge
listener.
you, that wasn't going to grasp you, and they'd be a good listener.
No, they wouldn't be a good listener. That's why the phrase is like talking to a brick fucking wall.
Because they don't have ears at the moment, do they, Matthew? They don't have ears. Now they have ears, they can listen to you.
How do you know they're not deaf ears? Hence the saying it fell on deaf ears. They don't have mouths.
In
So
the room I'm currently
you'd
sat
never-
in,
you'd
I
never-
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 separate walls at 7 different angles.
Why do you
Listen to
live
me,
in a
I'm sure I
heptagonal
could-
house?
I've got like an L shape going on.
Okay, so you're hoping at least one of them's a good listener, and they can
1 out of
fact.
7, that's good odds. I think if I was to gather 7 people in the UK, just gather 7 people up, I think at least 6 of them will have working ears.
That might be a bit overwhelming. If you were sat in your living room trying to have a chat and talk to them, and then they all faxed you their response, and they all had different opinions on what you should do next, that might be a bit overwhelming, wouldn't it?
More importantly,
I don't have a fax machine, so I'm not worried.
right, so on your thing, John, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13 walls in my front room 'cause it's a very weird shape.
Listen to him, Billy Big Walls over there.
But no, so just like you said, so I've got
It's all that.
13 ears, right? Sometimes my girlfriend leaves the room because she doesn't want to fucking hear my voice anymore. These walls haven't got a choice. How long before the house collapses on me because they physically can't stand it anymore?
Oh,
And also, what about if a house is made of wood? Would they have ears and eyes?
oh, yes.
Yes, so every single shed in the country is more evolved than any tree or house.
So sheds win.
It's just like a flashback to episode 5. Sheds win.
Sheds or flamingos. But yeah, because you could
Sheds
have
win.
wood houses.
I think all the houses we were at in Norway were wood.
Plus, also, right, the amount of shit that goes down in cities, if it was like CCTV, yeah, you'd have all of these things that are heard and it would help with the police and everything else. But imagine how shit that's going to make all the superhero movies if every time the Joker gets together with Penguin and Two-Face to plot the killing and just instantly Commissioner Gordon's there and is like, right, time to arrest everyone, end of episode. Like,
Efficiency.
a Batman would be shit to watch, though.
It's very easy to hide your actions when you either text each other or you put it in an email or you just jot it on a piece of paper. But if you are seen to be meeting up with people and the trees are watching you, that's kind of hard to deny because you have witnesses everywhere. There's the CCTV that's on the streets in the cities where the crime happens. And if you want to go to the countryside, you'll be tracked by all the trees along the way.
Which is why I voted for trees.
Because you can be followed anywhere and all the people that you associate with via, other means.
Yeah,
You'll always be followed and found out.
exactly. And think of all the children that go missing. It would be really useful for forest rangers. Huh?
Forest rangers have a job.
Think of how little forest fires would spread as quickly.
Because
Also,
you'd have trees,
just-
trees silently screaming.
Just going back
Think
to
of-
the shed.
Sending
with-
faxes.
Sending faxes.
Forestry Commission.
Just
All
go.
the murders that wouldn't happen. Because if you knew your murderer, you go, "Oh no, Matthew, please don't kill me." They'd be like, "Oh right, okay, well, no, I'm just joking." Because everyone knows the walls would send a fax and the murderer would be caught straight away.
Just
There
go
aren't
back.
any murders that happen in the middle of the woods.
Going back to the shed with eyes and ears. If R.L. Stein is listening, you're free to use that idea for a new Goosebumps film or book.
Everyone knows R.L. Stein's actually Jack Black, so we should have written it in the form of a song. Which would
Shed's
be
got
acceptable.
fucking eyes and ears, motherfucker.
Which would be appreciated by the walls because they have ears.
The shed
Okay,
can't
I've
hear things, he's made of metal.
I'll be honest, I've completely lost track of who's arguing for what.
I said
So-
I'd rather the trees have eyes.
And apparently I've got the other one.
Okay. Well,
Well, my last closing statement is the Russians bugged the hell out of everywhere during the Cold War. And what did that amount to? Nothing. There wasn't no nuclear holocaust. There was no Russian invasion of Europe and America. Everything's fine.
okay.
Came
Right?
down. The wall with its ears came down. The Hoff was there, and everyone was all right in the end.
Would the Great Wall of China only have one ear?
That's a good question.
And where would it be?
One at each end.
No, because each wall only has one ear, remember?
But the walls are connected. The walls are connected to each other by a series of guard towers, which have got four
true.
walls within themselves. That'd be a really good defense mechanism because in the dead of night, when the Hun were approaching, you wouldn't be able to see them, but you could hear them.
Apparently, when the Huns were marching, you could hear them for miles anyway.
Well, there we go. Jobs are good.
Okay. Right. Well,
The Huns were also really good for helping prevent or slow down global warming because of how many people they killed as well.
I'm just gonna call it for wolves having ears
What?
because sometimes
Because you forgot what anyone said and just picked one.
Because I want a good listener sometimes.
I want lots of listeners, but unfortunately this podcast doesn't get it.
Well, if the wolves had ears, then maybe they would listen to our podcast because they'd
But we
have no
wouldn't.
choice.
We wouldn't get any other listens though because they can't have their own Spotify subscription or iTunes account.
We'd just put.
You can get it on free version. They don't have to pay for premium.
Then they wouldn't get to choose the episode they listen to, but they would get to be able to listen.
That's
Is
even
that how that
more-
works with podcasts? That'd be shit.
I don't know. I think I have Spotify Premium, so I don't have
Same.
that problem. But
Ooh, Mr. Big Bucks.
All right, Billy Big Walls, calm down. That's my new nickname for you. I'm going to use that whenever I can and whenever I fucking remember.
Billy Big Balls.
well, would you believe it? We've come to the end.
This is the first and last time Matthew will ever be called Billy Big Walls on the podcast. Matt, this is the point where you do an outro, or are you so disgusted that you're not going to do it tonight?
I'm just so disgusted. The fact that I thought I'd made a really good point about, helping stopping forest fires, and John was just having none of it.
Yeah, no, that was a good point.
John is for forest fires.
4 forest fires, and he's 4 people being murdered in the woods.
Yeah, 100%. And he's for all superhero movies and comics being ruined.
Yeah, I'd actually be okay with that.
And is not only with a studio audience for 100 people watching him masturbate, but now he's for at least 4 walls listening to him as well. So John is a pervert. John and I have been normal, and John's been a pervert. We hope to entertain you and your walls next week. Thanks for listening.
There's one guy at the very back of the audience who goes, "Put it in her ass."